Hi everyone. So I hope all of you can hear me. This is Adhirath Kapoor from Network Kings, and today we are going to talk about the upcoming workshop and what we are going to discuss in that workshop. So just give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible to all of you. You can let me know in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and tell me. So Khalid, Kumar, Mrityunjay, others, is my screen
Yeah,
visible?
we have your voice and we have your screen.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. So this workshop is going to be about virtualization technologies, right? So just want to let you know that for those of you who are cloud enthusiasts, you'd be knowing that, initially it's tough to break into such a field. It's probably because of the reason because, that people don't really know much about the foundation of cloud, and that is virtualization, right? So in this workshop, we are going to discuss the three main types of virtualization: network virtualization, server virtualization, and storage virtualization. So I'm a VCP. So VCP stands for VMware Certified Professional in Data Center Virtualization. So before that, I wanted to move to cloud, but I could not do that because, some of the terminologies that I went through, they seemed a little tough to me. So I came back a step. I stepped back a little and I started studying virtualization. So since it's the foundation of the cloud industry, once you master virtualization, it's going to be easy for you to sustain yourself in the cloud. Why? Because if you have understood what storage virtualization is, what server virtualization is, what is network virtualization, and you integrate them together, the last step is automation and integration. Automation, integration, and orchestration. So with that, it's very easy to work in the cloud industry. So this is what we are going to discuss in this workshop. So this workshop will have live classes, hands-on labs, and some quizzes. Now let me tell you about the modules that we will be dealing with here. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to virtualization. So I don't uh, require any prerequisites. Okay, so there are no prerequisites for this workshop. If you know a little bit of networking, you know what operating systems are, you're good to go. You can take this workshop easily. This is where I'll be telling you about the evolution of data centers, right? So how, data centers or traditional data centers went on to become software defined data centers and saved a lot of money because now they don't have to run one operating system per server. Now we've got really cool software known as hypervisors to help us out in this case. So when I talk about hypervisors are not something that are, that are new. Hypervisors have been there since late 90s. Okay. But now, since everything is moving to the cloud, and along with cloud, we've got the concept of containerization. So it's good that you start understanding these concepts, right? Then I'm going to talk about the different vendors, okay? Vendors who are leading the virtualization industry. So can anyone tell me who's the current pioneer in the virtualization industry? Yes. Even if you give me a wrong answer, that's fine. Who do you think is the industry leader when it comes to virtualization? Yes, anyone? Keshav, Khalid, Kumar, Mrityunjay, Yogesh. Okay, so let me ask you a very simple question. You work with hypervisors, right? If you don't know what a hypervisor is, let me tell you about these tools. Then you might get a good idea. So you've got VMware Fusion, right? You've got Oracle VirtualBox. Has anyone worked with tools like these before?
Yes, I did, sir.
Okay. So can you tell me about the project that you worked with, like, or was it just for learning purposes?
It was just for learning purposes.
All right. So which one did you like better, Workstation or VirtualBox?
Well, VirtualBox is a little light, and virtual machine is a little kind of requires more hardware or memory
Right.
and RAM or graphic.
Right. I mean, VirtualBox is free. It's from Oracle, right? You don't have to pay even a single penny to use it. But then I find it to be a little tacky. And you're right about VMware Workstation. It occupies a lot of computer resources, and because that's one of the reasons, that the virtual machines on VMware Workstation, they run really well. So this is one of the requirements by VMware. So we've got VMware, we've got Oracle, we've got other vendors as well. We've got Microsoft. Does anyone know about the hypervisors from Microsoft? Yes, any idea? Comes with Windows 10 or 11 Pro. Comes with Windows Server as well. Has anyone heard of Hyper-V?
Yes,
Oh,
I do hear about the Hyper-V.
right. Okay, great. So Hyper-V is Microsoft's hypervisor. Then we've got other companies as well. We've got Citrix. Citrix has their own hypervisor known as Zen. Uh, Red Hat has their own hypervisor named KVM. Amazon also has their own hypervisor. It's called Bolt, right? So there are a lot of companies. There are a lot of leaders in the virtualization industry. But the pioneer is VMware. Okay, I've got a really cool story about how VMware became the pioneer of this industry. But then I'm going to reserve that story for our workshop classes. Okay. Then we have to design our lab. That's going to be in the module 3. So even if you don't have a device with really nice specs, it's fine. Okay. There's no need to worry at all. Why? Because we've got this product from VMware where you can test out all their technologies for free. So they've got this product called vSphere for server virtualization. They've got NSX for network virtualization. They've got vSAN for storage virtualization. And then for security, not for security virtualization, but to make sure that the virtual environment is secure, they have this product known as uh, Carbon Black. Okay, so we are going to work with Carbon Black as well. All right. So with HOL, you can deploy anything that you want to for free. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a small demo. So I'll write virtualization 101. If you haven't worked with HOL before, you'll be amazed how good it is. All right, so let it start. Takes a few minutes, not minutes, actually seconds based on your internet connection. All right. So now, as you can see, you've got the whole environment present in your browser. They've got this manual as well. And this manual is around 600 pages. If you click on lab guidance, it is going to teach you each and everything on even how to set up a hypervisor in an environment. It's going to help you understand the difference between a T1 hypervisor and a T2 hypervisor. All right. And then if I go to Google Chrome, just let me go to Google Chrome. If I click on vSphere Web Client, I'm able to access the hypervisor. And it's a complete realistic environment. So from here, I can deploy virtual machines. I can move them from one server to another. I can create clusters of servers. I can create something known as snapshots. I can create clones. I can convert them to templates. So I know that these terms might be new to you right now, but in the workshop, I'm going to discuss them all. And you're going to get a good hands-on practice of what happens in the industry. Okay. So this is HOL. Along with HOL, what we are going to do is we are going to set up our own lab. So the minimum requirement is, to have a device with 4 GB of RAM. That's it. I don't want anything more than that. If you have 4 GB of RAM on your laptop or on your PC, you can set up the basic lab for virtualization. Okay. Then we are going to talk about different hypervisors, but my main focus is going to be on ESXi. Okay, ESXi from VMware. After that, we are going to talk about NSX, which is the network virtualization technology. So for those of you who have completed CCNA, okay, and if you have heard of SD Access, if you have heard of SDN tools from Cisco, if you study NSX, it will be a good, skill in your arsenal. So in CCNA, you studied traditional networking. Here, I'm going to talk about the basics of network virtualization so that you understand, the difference, the actual difference between a VLAN and a VXLAN. All right. And then later on, we are going to talk about vSAN, the storage virtualization product. Then the later modules talk about the terminologies and the technologies we talk about and we use in virtualization. Okay. And at the last, I'm going to teach you a bonus module, which is the CLI. So usually when you set up virtual machines, you manage hypervisors, you do everything through GUI. So this is GUI. The one that I'm controlling right now is GUI. But there are some problems that cannot be resolved using GUI. You will have to use CLI for that. But the problem is the CLI commands for the hypervisors are not the same as Linux or Windows commands. They are different. Okay. They are broken down into components, components for storage, components for networking, components for server, right? So here I'm going to teach you the commands, the basic commands for the hypervisors and how to manage them. And if there are some critical issues that cannot be solved through GUI, we'll do that through CLI. All right. So I've already talked about HOL, how it is going to look like. The other thing that I want to talk about for this workshop is our Network Kings Learn portal. So here at Network Kings, we have held various workshops, right? I've delivered a lot on cybersecurity. I've delivered a lot on VCTA. So this one is all about the basics of virtualization. And here I'm not going to talk about just server virtualization. I'm going to talk about the other two techniques as well. So I can show you one of my virtualization courses. This is different. This is a different course called VCTA, but this is how your portal is going to look like. And for every session, you're going to get recordings. There will be a doubt clearing session. Along with that, I'll be adding some resources and references, right? Some PDFs, some PPTs, some study guides, some lab guides, so that you can study virtualization by yourself as well. Okay, you don't have to depend on me after the course ends. Okay, so this is what we will be talking about in the workshop, right? And if you don't know already, this workshop is not at all expensive. It goes for just 25 USD or 999 INR. Okay, and it's going to be a 10-hour workshop where you learn interesting things. Okay, this is what we are going to talk about in the workshop, right? So if you guys have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer them. Yes, any questions? Alok, Keshav, Khalid, Kumar, Mrityunjay, any questions for me? Nope. All right. So let's talk about something today. So let's talk about a data center today. What is a data center and what do you find in a data center? Can anyone tell me? Yes, so what is a data center, guys? What kind of devices would you find inside a data center?
Well, a data center is basically the servers which collects all the data
Right,
and provides to users.
right. So we've got servers. Cool. What else? What else do we have inside a data center? What about networking devices, Khalid? Would we have networking devices as well?
Yes, most definitely.
All right,
Firewalls, networking devices,
cool. And what do you
switches.
think? Right, exactly. Switches, routers, firewalls. And here we don't have those regular campus switches, right? Like if you have studied CCNA, you would know the difference between a catalyst switch and a nexus switch. So catalyst switch is a campus switch, whereas nexus switch is a data center switch. They're different, right? They have altogether different capabilities from campus switches. And then what do you think? I mean, where do you think the data is stored? Is it stored on network? Is it stored on servers or networking devices? Where is the data stored?
Is stored on the server's hard drive.
That's rarely. Okay, we've got our external storage devices. Have you heard of NAS? What is NAS?
No, sir.
Network attached storage. That is what makes virtualization so different from a regular data center. Because in regular data centers, everything is stored on the same device. But that would lead to bottlenecks. Let me explain how. So if I have these two servers, right? So I have this server one and server two. And let's say I have a hypervisor on top of them. Hypervisor is a virtualization software. So I'm just going to write H for hypervisor. And I've got two virtual machines here and two virtual machines on my server two. So I've got this V3 and I've got this V4, right? So what if server one fails? What if this stops working? Then obviously V1 and V2 will also stop working. right? This is what is going to happen. But in data centers, in software-defined data centers, this is not how the virtual machines are stored. Virtual machines are stored on a separate storage device. And that storage device is connected to a networking device. That could be a switch. And then that switch is connected to server 1 and server 2. So virtual machines are not stored on servers. They just run on the servers. So servers only provide processing capability, computing capability. Got it? Our virtual machines are stored here. So V1, V2, V3, V4. So if this server stops working, you don't have to worry because virtual machines are stored on this device, which is indirectly connected to the server 2. And then I can later on deploy those same virtual machines here. Did you guys understand? So this is all possible because of virtualization. I mean, these devices are expensive. These devices are really cool. But unless and until you configure them properly, you make them scalable, unless and until you do that, you're going to look at a very big, loss, a huge business loss. Okay. So virtualization is not just a technology. It's basically a boon, right? That leads to scalability, that increases the performance, that saves the data center owners or the companies a lot of money. And at the same time, make sure that these resources that you want from that data center are available to you 24/7, 365 remotely, right? So if you go to Amazon, let me go to Amazon and let me just see if I want to download a machine. All right, Cali, AWS. Now what I want to do is I want to run this operating system through cloud. Okay. So I can select each and everything from here. I can select the kind of resources I want. I can select the region from where I want to run this machine. Okay, I'm going to select Mumbai. I select the image that I want. This is the only one that is available here. Then the CPU and the RAM that I require, I can select that from here. And then all I have to do is pay for it. So how is this possible? You would say that it's cloud. But ultimately, what is responsible for running this virtual machine? What is responsible for making this virtual machine accessible remotely? That's through cloud. That's through virtualization. Okay. So just like the OSI model in networking, in virtualization, we also have an architecture. We have a model. Like the first thing, obviously, that you're going to do is buy the devices. But those devices don't mean anything unless and until you configure them properly. So we've got a physical layer. On top of that, we have a virtual layer, and on top of that, we have an orchestration layer that I'll be discussing in the workshop. So today's session was just about, I was just trying to give you an overview, like what is actually going to happen in the workshop, right? So you know that it's going to be 25 USD or 999 INR. Okay, that is all that I wanted to convey, and you'll get the schedule from our support team. We are going to have this workshop from 8 to 9. Okay, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and we are going to start it from Friday. Tomorrow being Republic Day, so we won't start it tomorrow. We'll start it from Friday. So I guess that's all from us, the Networkings team. If you guys have any questions for us, you can definitely let us know. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Dinesh, Keshav, Khalid, Kumar, Mrityunjay. Any questions? No. All right then. So that's going to be all for this session, and we are going to meet on Friday. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this workshop because we are going to learn a lot of cool things. And after this workshop, we'll do another workshop on Docker and Kubernetes so that we get to understand how both of those technologies collaborate with each other. That's all. Thank you. Bye bye, and see you on Friday.
Thank you, sir.